Flatiron is the last major event top players will get to prepare themselves for Summit 6, so let's take a look at some of the storylines for players that you should be aware of to fully enjoy watching this one-day event. With Leffen being the only member of the top 6 in attendance, it's quite hard to predict what other players will be filling out the rest of top 8 at this event. So let's first take a look at some of the players who are on a hot streak coming into the event and have a good chance of showing up in top 8. First off, we have Crush, who's not only had an amazing 2018 so far, but also had a great showing last weekend. He won 2 regionals, Scarlet Classic and Gemini, in the same weekend, only dropping a single cent to Absent Page while taking wins over Rishi, Lint, IBDW, and Darktooth. He hasn't had the chance to play most of the premier talent that are attending this event since the Twitch Holiday Bash, so look out for Crush meeting up with players like SFAT and S2J to see if the Holiday Bash was an anomaly or we're going to see Crush start consistently beating these caliber players and potentially push himself into the top 10. The other potentially hot player to look out for is Westballs, who's coming off an amazing 3rd placing at Nudes Oakland, where he double eliminated Wizrobe while also beating Rocky and Shroomed. However, Westballs is a much more volatile player to bet on than Crush, but it appears that his admission into Summit has finally lit a new fire under him. So watch out for Westballs in sets against top 20 players like Axe and Crush to see if there's still hope that Westballs can crawl his way back up the Sandstorm levels of play, or if Nudes Oakland was just getting our hopes up. There's also a handful of players on the other side of the coin who haven't been able to start their 2018 as strongly as they hoped. These 3 players will be looking to hopefully turn their fate around at Flatiron by avoiding bad losses and hopefully taking some solid wins on the way to top 8. The first player on this list is Axe, who is still expected by most to get 2nd at the event, despite his out-of-character 25th placing at Full Bloom 4. Much like West and Crush, Axe hasn't been tested against the field too much in the last couple of months due to the lack of events, so it'll be interesting to see if Full Bloom will just be a road bump for the Soul Pikachu or the beginning of a downward spiral. The interesting potential matchups to be looking out for are Hugs, who he hasn't played since he beat him 3-2 at Summit 5, Westballs, who he hasn't played since 2016 where Axe lost 3-0, and Zane, who has never played Axe in tournament. Next up we have Lucky, who started off the year with an outstanding 5th place finish at Genesis 5, where he beat Zane, Nun, SFAT, Mewtwo King, and Hugs, but has fallen off significantly since. His losses have gotten progressively worse since Genesis, so it looks like Flatiron will show us if he's able to put the brakes on this downward spiral that has the potential to knock him out of top 20 if he continues in this direction. Sets to look out for with Lucky would be against players like Lod, Swedish Delight, and Cyrox that will help us gauge about where Lucky's skill level is currently. Lastly, we have Rishi, who attended the same 2 events that Crush did last weekend, but did not have as successful of a time with 2 3rd place finishes. Already having losses to IBDW and Michael is not a great look for Rishi, who had a lukewarm 33rd placing at Genesis, with losses to Cyrox and Zane already under his belt. Rishi has been experimenting with playing Fox in tournament more recently, so that may be a contributing factor to his recent struggles. Be on the lookout for Rishi's matches with high-level Foxes like KJH and Cyrox to see if he was able to learn anything from his losses to Crush and Absent Page last weekend. And with the stats for the hot and cold players out of the way, let's take a look at the last group of people you should be keeping an eye out for at Flatiron 3. This group is comprised of players who made it in the Summit and will be using this event as their last big competition before the event, and I want to highlight 2 of those players. Hugs leads off this section with a similar but not as extreme trend as his fellow Dignitas brother Lucky since Genesis 5. Since making top 8 at that major, Hugs has just barely missed out on making top 8 at every single larger event that he's attended. But with a solid performance in seeding, he should have no problem breaking the top 8 at this event, even if it is on loser's side. Sets to watch for Hugs would be if he ends up facing Lucky or Westballs, to see if he's able to turn around the poor records he already has against both players this year. The second player I want to highlight is Zane, who was just able to slip into Summit during the first round of voting, so he's able to turn his focus from campaigning back onto the game itself. And here at Flatiron, there's a very real possibility that Zane could be coming into Summit off as high as a 4th or 3rd place finish at this event. The biggest factor on deciding how far Zane is going to be able to go at the event is what characters he runs into in bracket. If he's mainly fighting high-level Spacies players like Lucky and Westballs, he can make a deep run into the bracket, but if he has S2J and Hugs on his path to top 8, he's probably in trouble. So be on the lookout for any sets Zane is playing against non-Spacies players to see if he's been able to improve himself in these harder matchups. And before I wrap up this video, I just want to give my brief predictions on who's going to make top 3 at Flatiron. It's a little bit harder for me because I don't think the projected brackets are going to go live till Friday, so if you're seeing this on Friday, you've got a better chance of making that prediction down in the comments. But without that, my guess is going to be that it'll be Leffen's probably going to win the event. I don't think that's a tough prediction for anyone. He still looked great at full bloom, even after being on his DBZ fighter stint, or however you pronounce that, or whatever the acronym is. I think Leffen's the clear winner of this event. I'd be very shocked if anyone took it of him. For second and third, I'm not going to say who's second and who's third, even though Crush has won last time they played head-to-head. So I'm going to bet Crush SFAT for them filling out it. I don't know why I'm feeling... Well, it's because of Axe's full bloom performance. I'm not feeling as confident in him, but I would not be surprised. Like, if I had to pick, like, 4 that could potentially going to be the top 3, it's Leffen, Crush, SFAT, or Axe. But for my prediction, without the projected brackets, it's Leffen, Crush, SFAT. But without that, it's really hard to make. But in the most likely scenario, that's what I see happening. And I'd love to hear your predictions down below, especially with the projected bracket on Friday, to see who you think has a really good path to getting into it or not. And also, I want to make sure you know the details about Flatiron this weekend. It's going to be streamed on Endgame TV if the Smash GG page is correct. Melee singles, the first wave starts at 12 p.m., whatever Colorado time is. You can probably transfer that in or check it out on the Smash DG page, which should be in the link down in the description. And top 8's projected to start at 7 p.m. So schedule your Saturday around it, just because it's a one-day event, so you get to see all this Melee in one day. And you still have your Sunday to do whatever you want to do on your lazy Sunday. So I've been SaveAsUntitled. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in the Twitch chat of Flatiron watching these games. And also, I will see you guys next time.